Ron, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Excellent. I just want to confirm,
Mhm.
okay, that that we have just a second. Okay. Okay, no. I wanted to confirm that you have been the recording that you've received work for you.
Oh, I haven't had a chance to play that recording. I got it, but I didn't play it yet.
Okay,
That
but
was
you did get it.
yeah, I did get it. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Okay. Sorry. And let's see this. Okay, I just okay. I hope that we'll see the others today, though they might have some difficulties getting into class. Right.
I hope I wasn't. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You
I
were
hope I
saying?
wasn't too distracted today when I made the little sermon joke earlier. When you
No,
made a
no, no.
statement about one God or less, I'm like, I get that because monotheism. There's only one God.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the point about one God or less
Yeah.
is because many Jews are like are Jewish because of their
Right.
tradition, because of their ethnic group, because of their like nationality,
Yeah.
even though they believe or in less, let's
Yeah.
say.
Right.
Right. So
I
that
thought about that when you talk about those kind of I call cultural holidays, like Christmas is, for example, you have the religious one, right? And then you have the one about the good cheer stuff. Everybody's nice to each other, and then you have a third one, which is crass commercialism.
mhm,
And becomes a cultural thing to just give gifts away, though the person might be an atheist altogether. Yeah.
right. So we don't have that much of commercialism of the holidays.
No, you don't.
Uh,
I mean, the Jewish holidays are actually holy days.
no. Listen,
Huh? Yeah.
yeah, people are people.
Yeah.
So everything you'd see, you'll see in across the board. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that. I'm not saying that there is no significance to doctrine. There
Right.
is significance to doctrine,
Hmm.
but there is no religion that can like. There are Jewish murderers and
Oh,
Christian
sure.
murderers, and
Like
you
everywhere.
see
Yeah.
my point.
Yeah. Yeah. I do.
Okay, right. So last time we've finished with the first part of this dialogue. Okay, we have a very interesting, very carefully constructed dialogue in which Naomi is trying to dissuade her daughters-in-law from following her, and we've seen the first part. And let's move on to the next part. Now, this part, some people divide the dialogue of Naomi and her two daughters-in-law into three parts, and then it's the second part. Some divide it into four part, and then what we have on screen, verses 11 to 13, constitute the second and third part. Uh, let's read verse 11, and then we'll see about that. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me think. That's Vatomer Naomi. Yeah. Vatomer Naomi. Uh, Shov Shov Chauvina. Yeah. Chauvina. Well, that's Chauvina. That's long, isn't it? The Holem Chauvina. Uh, Bo Vo Vote.
Shovna venotai,
Oh, Chauvina. Okay.
Shovna venotai,
Vinotai. Uh, Lama Ta La. I gotta slow myself down here. Lama. Tila telachna imi. That's correct. Let me see. Next slide is Haod li va nim. B'mei I, yeah, b'mei I va v'hayu lechem. Le'anashim.
La'anashim.
Le'anashim. And there's a end of the verse there. Then it goes Shovna ben notai. Oh, okay, so repetition. Shovna ben notai
Lechna. So,
lechna.
but just a
Yeah.
second, before we move on
Okay.
to 12, I want to look closer at 11.
Okay.
So, Shovna venotai, lama telachna imi, ha'od li vanim b'me'ai, v'hayu lachem la'anashim. So, again, what is the root of Shovna?
The root of Shovna is that that would be Shin Beit Nu?
No.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, no.
So Shovna.
Oh, Shin Beit. Is that right?
Shin Vav and Bet.
Shin Vav and Beit. Okay.
Okay. Shin Vav and Bet. Essentially, okay. Shin Vav and Bet is the root that we've talked about last time as well as accompanying this part of the story. Vatashov Lashuv El Eretz Yehuda. Shovna, which we had last time, okay, and Nashuv. You can see that this root repeats itself on every step of the way, okay. Alongside Shovna, we also have the root Hey Lamed Chaf in the imperative Lechna. Okay, we had Lechna Shovna in verse 8 in the first attempt to dissuade them from following her. We also have Shovna here. Okay. So Shovna is opening each of these attempts, and it opens also verse 12. This is why some people say that these are two separate they count them as two. Shovna is the feminine plural form of the imperative. Okay, the imperative, you can see IMV or IMP as abbreviations of imperatives, imperative. The feminine plural imperative has the na, exactly like the verb has the na.
Yes.
Okay, in the feminine plural. So Shovna means return. This root Shin Vav and Bet, right? We've talked about 10 days of atonement, Aseret Yemei Teshuvah. Okay. So Shovna venotai, lama telachna imi. The word lama means usually why. Okay. But here it has a sense of don't. Sometimes the word lama actually has a sense of don't. So don't go with me. Okay, return my daughters, don't go with me. Exactly as we would see al benotai in verse 13. Don't my daughters. And again, note this my daughters that repeats itself.
Right.
Okay. Ha'odli, this is an interrogative hey. Okay, the hey that makes a yes no question. We have it here as well as in verse 13. We'll get to that. Okay, so Shovna venotai, lama telachna imi. העוד לי בנים במאי והיו לכם לאנשים. She is telling them that they should not follow her because, and here she is using a rhetorical question, will I have sons in my inward parts that would become your husbands? And when she's asking that, what is the proposition that is underlined here?
Which verse is that? I'm sorry.
That she won't. Okay, it's like asking, is the Pope Catholic? Oh, yeah. Obviously, you know, when you ask a rhetorical question, the answer should be clear. Will I have sons that will become your husbands? Okay. Mm-hmm. So, right. Note la anashim before an aleph with a reduced patach, we have the lamed with a regular patach. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Very good.
Your husbands, yeah.
Right. To your man, your husband. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the next part. And the next part is really an elaboration on the same concept. Okay. She's trying to convince them not to follow her because she will not be able to provide them with what they should have, and that is a husband and an attempt and a chance at life. And if she wasn't successful in convincing them to begin with, now she's saying, okay, I will grant you, even if portraying the best of circumstances, even under the best of circumstances, this could not happen. Okay, let's see verses 12 and 13. Go ahead.
All right. Shovna benoti of Shovna benotai. Shovna benotai. Lechna ki zak
Zakanti.
I didn't see the. Oh, I see the patach under there. Okay, it's my screen here is like blended in with the accent mark. Zakanti
with a noon.
Oh, Zakanti, yeah, Zakanti. Thank you. Miyot. Yeah, Miyot. Leosh.
Leish.
Oh, Leish. Yeah, Leish. Ki Amarti. Yesh Lee. Yeah, it goes on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to look at the accents and see how I should keep reading it through here.
Yesh Lee tikva. Yeah, you're doing well.
Yeah, I don't feel like it. Yesh Lee tikra.
Tikva.
Tikva. I keep saying that. This the ratio is a longer stem on the end. Let's see. Gam. Ha. Yati.
Haiti.
Hayati.
Haiti.
Ha. La. Ha. Lai. La. The ish. Where are we at? Oh. Vagam. Ya. Lati. Vanim. You want me to read 13 as well?
Yes, let's look at them together.
All right. I can't see past that writing. Is that Halep? Thank you.
Halahen.
Halahen. Tisha
Berna. The dot is above the.
Oh, sure is.
Left hand side.
Yeah. Yeah. Say it again. Tissa Verna. that we use together. That should be Ad Asher Yig Yig Yigdalu.
Yigdalu.
Yeah, Yigdalu. Halahin Ti'agena Lavileti.
Levilti.
Oh, Levilti. That's right. Okay.
Levilti, right.
Let's see. That would be then Hayot. Yeah, Hayot Leish. There's a little pause there. Al B'nai
Al
Ki.
Benotai.
Oh, I'm sorry. Al Benotai. Why I say B'nai? I see the Bain in there. Al Benotai. I left out whole syllables there. Ki Marli Mayod. Mikem. Yeah, Mikem Ki Ki Yatsera
Yatsea.
Yatsera V Yad. Is that Adonai?
Adonai, right.
Adonai. Okay. I almost said it out. I realized that's Adonai's Lord. Okay.
Right. So we have here a lot of elements that show how it is carefully constructed. Ki, gam, vegam, halahen, halahen, ki. So you can see how we have these pairs of relatively short sentences, okay, starting constituting pairs, and they are also they're elaborating on the point that was made in verse 11. Okay, let's read the translation of these, and then we'll go back here and look at the Hebrew closely. Go ahead.
But Naomi said, "Return, my daughters. Why should you go with me? Have I yet sons in my womb that they may be your husbands? Return, my daughter, go, for I am too old to have a husband. If I said I have hope, if I should even have a husband tonight and also bear sons, will you therefore wait until they are grown? Would you therefore refrain from marrying? No, my daughters, for it is harder for me than for you, for the hand of the Lord has gone forth against me."
Right. So again, as far as the structure that we've seen, Shovna Venotai opens both of these. Okay, Lama Telachna and Lechna, both of them of the root Hey Lamed Chaf. We said that the roots Hey Lamed Chaf and Shin Vav Bet are accompanying us throughout these this section. Now, Ki Zakanti. Zakanti is a verb, first person common singular verb. Okay. Ki amalti, first person common singular katal verb. Okay, you can see that these are constructed in a similar way. Zakanti and amalti. Now, zakanti, both of them open with the word ki, even though it has a different meaning. What is the meaning of the word ki?
Was it for
in
or
each of
because?
them? Okay, so the first one, return my daughters, go away, for I am too old to be with a man. Okay, note that Hayot Leish here is also repeating again, Mehiyot Leish, Hayiti Leish, Hayot Leish. That's something that repeats itself as, and again, that repetition points towards the sharp point that Naomi is making. Okay, Naomi is turning what she said in verse 11 into kind of a more sharp depiction of of the point that is made in 11, in verse 11. First of all, I'm too old to be with a man. You know what? Suppose I still have hope. Amarti here doesn't mean I said. Usually the verb amar means to say, but sometimes amar means to think. Okay, presumably, okay, presumably, let's say that I do have hope. Okay, so first of all, I'm too old. Secondly, let's say I do have hope. That is to say, let's say I'm not too old. Let's say, I'll grant you, maybe I meet a man today and I will, consummate our marriage today. And you know what? I get pregnant. I get pregnant and I have children. I have sons. I have twins, let's say, today. Would you wait for them? So we have the two gum clauses, okay, describing like the hope, okay, elaborating on the hope, being with a man and having children. Okay, let's say best case scenario. Okay, so they help us see, but just by stretching the borders of fantasy here, you can see that she has she shows that there is no hope, right? Let's say presumably I have hope. I married today, I have children. Would you wait for them? Okay. Would you not marry because of them? Okay. Now, some grammatical points to be made here, which are quite surprising. Let's see this. Lachem. We've seen lachem and mikim. Do you see anything out of the ordinary with these?
Being lechem and mikem.
Mikim and lachem, right?
Well, I see this ending on it. The kim, is that the what's this plural ending feminine?
Right,
pronoun?
but this, she's talking to her two daughters-in-law.
Yeah. And then you have lechem. I guess those would be. One is the la. That's a preposition. Is it to?
Yeah, but I'm asking about the suffix.
Oh, the suffix.
This suffix looks like the suffix of.
Oh, it looks like the suffix you find in the city, Bethlehem. But I don't know what the answer would be there.
Yeah, but the second person masculine plural suffix is em, lachem.
Oh, okay.
Like atem.
Right.
Right, mikim. This looks like
a new masculine.
Right, it looks like masculine and not feminine. Lachem, mikim. And possibly the opposite, halahen, looks feminine. But it talks about the boys.
Right. So they twisted it around. It's inverted.
It's problematic, okay? And different suggestions were made. First of all, some said, okay, that the mem and the nun may kind of switch at the end of the words, and if you know any Spanish-speaking people, it's hard to tell when they say an M or an N at the end of the word sometimes, right? It's Portuguese-speaking people. It's hard to tell because the mem and the nun are phonetically close, that they are close to one another. That's one explanation. Another explanation, which I prefer, at least in the case of the second question, is that the word lahen here does not mean to them, but rather lahen means therefore in Aramaic. Okay, we know that word from the book of Daniel. We know it from biblical Aramaic. In biblical Aramaic, it means therefore. For instance, Daniel says to the king, Lahen milki yishpar alach. Okay, so the word lahen we know from Daniel chapter 2 verse 9 or chapter 4 verse 24, and it means therefore. This is why, and so the word lahen here does not mean to them, but rather therefore.
Okay. Now, wouldn't Ruth be a book that someone like Samuel would have written?
Okay, so that's an excellent question, something
Yeah.
that we're going to discuss down the road.
Okay. I
And
only asked that because of the timeline of Aramaic is much later, isn't it?
right, so it's even that is an issue because the Hebrew and the Aramaic, people say, oh, Aramaic means late, but that's not accurate.
Okay.
Okay, because the Hebrew and the Aramaic lived side by side for 3,000 years,
Okay.
already in the time of King David, there was interaction between the Hebrew and the Aramaic.
Okay.
Granted, the Aramaic influence is stronger in the Second Temple period, but it doesn't mean that we cannot have some Aramaic in First Temple period. It might be related to the origin of a specific text. Okay, let's say, think about the influence of Spanish over the English of people living in the southern part of the US, as opposed to not being as influential over people who live in the northern part of the US.
Right.
Okay, so it might be the location, it might be the genre. Okay, let's say I'm just giving an example. I don't know if it's even correct. Let's say I'm a chef. So I'm writing a cookbook. So a cookbook might be influenced by French more than a book about cars, even though they're written in the same time, in the same place. Sometimes the subject and the genre might call for different influences. Okay? So there might be different reasons for influences of languages.
So along this line, then she'd be saying something on the line of, would I have sons in my womb so that they would therefore become your husbands?
Would you therefore wait for them until they grow up? Would you therefore keep refrain from marrying? Okay, therefore. So that's a rhetorical question. Would you therefore wait until they grow up? Rather than, would you for them wait until they grow up? Okay. In regards to the feminine looking like masculine, it is interesting that all of these cases refer to the feminine plural when there are two women, and it might be a remnant of a dual form, a feminine dual form. Your question about the Aramaic will definitely resurface when we discuss the language and linguistic dating of the book of Ruth, which we will in the future. The word te'agena specifically is a hapax legomenon. Do you know what the hapax legomenon is?
Legomenon, I recognize that word in philosophy. Prolegomenon.
Right.
Word, but I don't know what hapax is. I don't know what that is.
Hapax legomenon is only one read or said only once, which means a word that appears only once in a given corpus.
Okay.
So the word te'agena appears only once in the Bible. The root Ein Gimel Nun appears only only once in the Bible. We'll talk about it in Unit 21, which deals with the Hapax Legomena in the book of Ruth. Okay. And so that's Halahen. Ad Asher Yigdalu. That's one of the connections to Genesis 38, the story of Judah and Tamar, when Judah is sending Tamar to her father-in-law until Shelah grows up, right? Remember that part? So it uses the same language. Okay, so all in all, verses 12 and 13 are elaborating on verse 11. And note, ki mar, ki yatse'ah v'yad Adonai, the hand of the Lord came against me. We'll talk about that, the fact that she attributes the calamity to the Lord. We'll talk about that in Unit 9, which deals with the direct and indirect intervention of God in this story. Okay. Let's see the next one. Go ahead.
Okay, we see. Vatishenu.
Vatisena.
Vatisena. Kolan. Vativkena. Oh, that rhymes.
Right, because they both have the second, like the feminine plural ending, either of the second or third person feminine plural.
Right. Ode. Vatishak ar. Oh, Vatishak orpa. Vatishak orpa. I'm supposed to read that together. Okay, let's see. Lacha mota verut taveka ba.
Okay, very good. So again, we had discourse. Now we're reverting to the narrative. Okay, and here, Vatisena kolan vativkena. We've seen this happening already, right? We've seen it last week when they Vatisena kolan vativkena. So now Vatisena kolan vativkena od. Again, od being again, because we've seen this happening already. Okay, Vatisena kolan vativkena od. Okay. ותשק עורפה לחמותה, ורות דבקה בה. Okay, so Orpah is kissing her mother-in-law.
Right.
Why is she kissing her?
She's saying goodbye.
She's saying goodbye, exactly. We've seen her mother-in-law kissing both of them here. Vatishak lahen, that is her kissing goodbye to them. Okay, but they refuse to accept it. Now, when Orpah is willing to succumb to the good claims, the good points that are made by her mother-in-law, it is described as her kissing her mother-in-law. Vatishak Orpah lachamota, verut davekava. So Vatisena kolan. Note that we are losing the aleph, okay, of nun samech, nun sin and aleph, okay. So the aleph disappears. After it becomes silent, the next stage is to disappear. Okay, it's like in English where you pick up the notebook of a student, it is more likely to have letters that are silent being left out rather than letters. Okay, some people forget the K in the word knife. Not many people would forget the N in the word knife. Okay, you see my point.
Yes.
Okay, so ותישאנה קולן ותבכנה עוד, ותשק עורפה לחמותה, ורות דה וקבע. So we have two clauses that continue the narrative. We have a vatishak orpa lachamota with a regular vital third person feminine singular of the root nun, shin, and kof, when the complement is hamota. Ruth kissed her mother-in-law. However, okay, the second clause here is contrasting. Okay, so contrasting the vital, we have katal, and we also have the reversal of the position. Okay, as now orpa, which is the subject, is first, and the predicate is second. Okay, so this would first of all indicate simultaneity, okay, and also contrast. I would say Orpah kissed her mother-in-law while Ruth clung to her. Because while in English provides us both.
Yeah. There's a symmetry there. I see, like it almost reverses the order.
Right. You can see the reversal of the verb and the subject.
Is that would be like a chiasm?
Yeah, it does create some kind of a chiasm, Vatishak and Ruth and Orpah. Okay. But not like that is, that's not a very elaborate form of a chiastic structure, but that's definitely common. As you change the form of the verb, you also change the word order.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Let's see the next one.
All right. Vatomer, that's it. Vatomer, hine, Vatomer, hine, shava, yevim tech el alma v el elo hey ya
Shuvi, you were correct.
Yeah, shuvi. Okay, shuvi. Akare. Yevim tech. Is that right?
Right.
Yevim tech. Okay. Then she said, "Behold, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and her gods. Return after your sister-in-law."
Right. Again, the returning, right?
Yeah.
Shava, Shuvi. Okay. Vatomer, and then we have the content of her words. Remember that the root aleph feminine introduces a direct speech. Okay. So we have here Vatomer introducing that direct speech, and right. The direct speech is following it when it is divided into two parts, right? Shava yevimtech, hine shava yevimtech el ama ve'el Elohea. Okay, שובי אחרי יבימתך. Now, how about Shava? Can you parse Shava?
Let's see. Shava, that's is that Katal?
Right, that is Katal.
And it would be let me see. It would be second person. Second person. They call it second person
No,
feminine. Oh,
third person feminine singular.
third person.
She
Okay.
returned.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Third person feminine singular.
Right, we said it's Shin Vav and Bet, third
Yeah.
person feminine singular. Kal and Katal. הנה שבה יבימתך אל עמה ואל אלוהיה. To her mother-in-law and to her people, I mean, and to her God. Shuvi, what is Shuvi?
It's return. You return.
Right, this is an imperative form.
Right. Right. Turn to return.
Shuvi אחרי יבימתך. This is a feminine singular kal imperative. Okay, of the root shin vav bet, the same root. Yevimtech, the root yod bet and mem, appears only in 3 books of the Bible: the book of Ruth, the book of Genesis. Again, one of those connections between these 2 books, and the book of Deuteronomy, where we have the law of levirate marriage.
Okay.
Okay, so shuvi acharei yevimtech, return following your basically sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's see this declaration, very moving declaration of loyalty. Go ahead.
Let's see. That's
It's a long one, right?
yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I'll read this.
Okay.
ותאמר רות, אל תפגעי בי לעוזבך, לשוב מאחרייך. Don't urge me to leave you, to return back from following you. Again, the root shin vav and bet that plays a significant role. Okay, ki el asher telechi elech. We've talked about going. Uva asher talini alin, amech ami velohaich Elohai. Wherever you go, I go. Wherever you lodge, I lodge. Your people is my people, and your God is my God. Verse 17. Ba asher tamuti amut. V'sham ekaver, wherever you die, I will die, and there I will even be buried. Ko ya'aseh Adonai li v'cho yosif, thus may the Lord do to me, and thus may he add, ki hamavet yafrid beni uveinech, only death shall separate me and you. And really it is very, very very moving, and it's it has a lot here. Let's read. I basically translated it as we went along.
Yeah.
But note the increasing intensity of this loyalty. Going with someone, that's one thing. Lodging with someone, by the way, suggests temporary, suggests that she is foregoing the prospect of having a normal home. Okay, talini has to do with spending the night, lodging, something that is not like set, organized habitation solution. Okay, el asher telechi, wherever you go, I go. Wherever you lodge, I lodge. Note the staccato. El asher telechi, elech. Uva asher talini, alin. Amech, ami. Velohaich, Elohai. Ba'asher tamuti amut, v'sham ikaver. So very, very staccato, very short sentences. Okay? And the obligation, this obligation is to death and even beyond. Okay, so that's that, And basically, Ruth suggests already earlier in verse 10, Ki itach nashuv le'amech. And again, now she says, Amech ami, ve'elohaich Elohai. This is part of the question that you've asked earlier today about people who are not religious, but yet still feel connected.
Yeah.
Okay. Note that this is not unlike what I answered. Okay. So that's Amech ami ve'elohaich Elohai, putting them together. And Ko ya'aseh Adonai li v'cho yosif. This is a common type of oath that we find in Samuel and Kings. Okay. Ki hamavet yafrid beni evenech. Right? You officiate in many weddings. Now you know where till death do us apart comes from.
Right. Yes.
Right. Very good.
I've heard people quote this verse in weddings.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a very moving verse. Though here it is like the friendship and the covenant between two women, but
Yeah.
there, one might ask what kind of a wedding, but
Well,
no.
not to mention, I was talking to my sister today about this very passage. It's not to mention she's abandoning her old gods and joining the God of Israel.
Right.
I said, so what are they saying? I come from a false God. I'm going to the true one. Shouldn't they already know that? But when they're getting married,
It's really a complicated issue.
Yeah.
Even it, okay, it's really a complicated issue of perception of what we understand here. In any case, moving on to the grammatical discussion, and today we're going to talk about the demonstratives. Demonstratives are pointing words. Okay, words that point towards something. Okay, we have two sets of demonstratives in Hebrew. We have proximal, which is near, and distal, which is far, demonstratives. Okay, so ze means this, zot means this, but feminine. Ele are these. Okay, so we have this, masculine singular, ze, this, feminine singular, zot, these, ele, either masculine or feminine. The distal demonstrative in Hebrew is identical to the independent pronoun. So who is that? He is that feminine singular. Those masculine, hem or hema, and those feminine is henna or hen. Oftentimes they are preceded by a definite article. Let's see the use. So we have the demonstrative being used as an adjective in these examples. Can you read aloud these examples and translate each?
All right. I see. Let me see. Is that Hana'ar Hazeh?
Hana'ar hazeh.
Hana'ar Hazeh. Let's see. And Zay, we just said was, oh, my mind goes that fast. Zay, we just said is this.
Right. So hana'ar hazeh, again, as an in an attributive way, it functions like an adjective.
Right.
So that would be this.
Not, I don't know what nar. I don't know what that word is.
Yeah, this young man.
This young. Okay.
Okay, hana'ar hazeh, again, as an adjective, it has to agree with a noun it modifies in gender, number, and definiteness.
So I see the second one would be Hana Ara Hazot. Now I guess that would be this young woman.
Exactly. And the others?
Let's see. Han Arim Hararim Ha Ale
Ha'ele.
Ha'ele. That would be these these young men.
Exactly.
All
And the
right.
bottom one?
The bottom one is Han Arot Ha Ha'ele. And this would be these young women. I'm seeing from the ending, the feminine there.
Okay.
On the bottom. And then I'm on the top left over there. It would be Han Ar Har Ha Hu.
What would be a na'arahu?
Okay. Hu and who doesn't mean he in this case. It means it's the plural. Is that right? Or the distant rather, those.
Right. So a na'arahu would not be those, would be that.
That, sorry. Yeah, singular. That young man. Let me see. Hana Ara Hahu, and that would be that young woman. Han Arin Ha Hema, that would be those young men.
Those young men,
Yeah.
right?
And then it's Han Arin Han Arot Ha Hena, which is those young women.
Exactly. Very good. The demonstrative may be used not just in an attributive way as an adjective, but it may be used as a demonstrative pronoun to constitute a sentence. These are all sentences. Ze hana'ar, this is the young man. Zot hana'ara, this is the young woman. Okay. Here we don't have a definite article. Okay. Ele hane'arim, ele hane'arot, and in the with the distal, hu hanar, that is the boy. He hana'ara, that is the girl. Hema hane'arim, those are the young men. And henna hane'arot, those are the young women.
So this is just like the attributive sense in Greek that I know about. It
Right.
looks exactly the same to me, even with the articles where they are.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not unlike the Greek here. Right. Tautos, right? Tauta, etc.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Hell, yeah, it depends on the what
I
kind
was
of
talking about the attributive. It reminds me of attributive Greek adjectives.
right.
When you
Hobio,
put the go ahead.
yeah. Bios chalepos, hobios ho chalepos. Right. Yeah. Right. Very good. So that's the demonstrative as a pronoun. And we've talked about the demonstrative as an adjective. Obviously, it can come in a little bit more elaborate forms. I will see you next week. Okay.
Yep.
And have a good week.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye, Ron.